Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Full-Time Sports Network's Cop Talk. Only place to be on a Thursday night at 10 o'clock, and as that you should already know. So we're going to say a big welcome to my panel, and we must say, you know what, we have to bring him in first, our special guest, and I must say a very brave special guest. I must say, I'll give him that, mate. You know what I mean? Win, lose or draw, he's here. Our very Billy Smith. How we doing, Sam?
Mate, you know how I'm doing. It's shit, but look, I'm here. Some Chelsea fans have got to show their faces, isn't they? I'm not one to hide from it.
No, I respect that, man. Seriously, I respect that, I must say. Well done. Big shots goes out, Doctor.
How are you, mate? I'm well. Just ready to kind of discuss the new Cafu still. So yeah, let's get cracking, man.
I said the new Cafu, you know. Okay. And Stoney, you're on mute at the moment, mate.
No, I'm good. You know what? I think while we were back in the studio, eating our grapes and our fruits, Billy mentioned about my audio. It sounds like I'm Hoover in the background. I'm not. I'm having some technical issues with my feed at the moment, so I do apologize. But I'm all good, and just looking forward to this evening's show on Cop Talk.
Okay, lovely. Gonna send a big shout goes out to Mr. CW. He's on us already, man. He's on it early. Must have finished work early. Yeah, Lazzy says he's well glad he's watching at the moment. And he said Liverpool saving me this season. No worries, man. We got you. Never walk alone, man. That's how it goes. Okay, we're gonna kick it off, man, and get straight into the nitty-gritty, man. Let's get straight into the meat. And the first question I'm gonna put out to the panel, whoever wants to answer first, can answer first. First one, Van Dijk, Conor Gallagher, was it a penalty? The first one.
Van Dijk was.
The first one was a penalty, you're saying?
Oh, the first one. So no.
Yeah, the first one I'm talking about.
For me, no.
I'm going with yes.
Okay. Stoney?
With my Arsene Wenger voice on, no penalties.
What are you going to say? You didn't see it?
Didn't see it.
True Arsene Wenger fashion. Okay. The second one, Van Dijk on Nkunku.
Pen.
Yes.
Once again, Arsene Wenger voice. I didn't see it. No, it was a penalty. It was a pen.
Okay. And Jota.
Pen.
Yeah. That was a pen.
Okay. It's quite interesting. When I like anything else, we're all watching it in real time. I just thought to myself, the ref has had an absolute me that it was definitely not a pen. I actually thought Jota clipped his own foot when he fell. But once obviously the penalty was given by the referee, when we saw it afterwards and we realized that his foot was stepped on, as you said, that's a thin line between a ref's position and obviously having VAR and a position that we have viewing it. So it was definitely a pen for Jota.
Okay. How does VAR look at the second one, especially because for me the first one wasn't a pen? Look at the second one, and you clearly see Van Dijk kick the back of his right foot and not give that as a pen. I just don't get it.
I'm going to start with this, right? And I mean, the first one, I understand people saying no, because at the end of the day, it's a soft one. We've seen them given. We've seen them not being given. So either on that one. Obviously, it depends what side you're on. If you're a Liverpool fan, you're obviously going to say no to that one. Obviously, I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm obviously going to be saying yes. It's one of those 50-50 ones for me. But the second one, yeah, I wouldn't even care that. I would care more if what happened didn't happen and we played utter horrendously, right? But it's still just the lack of consistency with VAR is absolutely killing it.
Nah, it is very true, man. CW says first one was soft, but he's seen them given, just like what you said. And the second one, Van Dijk on Nkunku, definitely a pen. Big shouts goes out to Anthony Herbert. Hope you're well. Did you know Chelsea are? I think we found that out yesterday, mate. I think we found that out.
Artie, you got to get on Anthony, man. He's an Arsenal fan. You better be talking to smack him after you lot smack Arsenal up on the weekend.
We better do. Don't worry. We'll be talking about that the preview of that game shortly, mate. After let's deal with a little issue called Chelsea first, and then we'll get to that one afterwards, man. We'll get to that one afterwards. Yeah, so definitely VAR at its nonsense again. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I just can't believe that nothing's being done about it, to be fair, because it was plain as day. You know what I mean? When I first saw it, I was a bit ooming and ahhing, like, because the way he went down, he was rolling, making a beat of it. So I was like, oh, but when they showed the replay and what VAR have got to look at is like, for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, they're going to give a pen. When they didn't, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Absolutely ridiculous. But this is what we have to put up with, man. So anyway, we got the pen with Jota. Matt 10 had the ball in his hands. How did Darwin Núñez end up with the ball in his hands?
I don't know. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah. I was brewing yesterday. I was absolutely brewing. Because, yeah, Matt 10 does take the ball. Now, I guess the question is, sometimes in one of the fans of Liverpool, Age, mentioned this yesterday. Sometimes we have a player who takes the ball to then relieve the pressure of the actual penalty taker if the opposition will kind of then try and disrupt what he's doing. So there is a chance that that's what Matt 10 was actually doing rather than it being Núñez. So my point is this. If it was meant to be Núñez, I've got no issue with him missing. If it was meant to be Matt 10 or Szoboszlai, and then it's like a case of the team thinking Núñez needs a goal, let's them make him take it, then I don't like it. And saying that, I checked on his record yesterday, and he's taken 13 penalties, and yesterday was the first one that he's actually missed. So in theory, he's got a good record. So
yeah, but you know what? For me, Matt 10 is a seasoned penalty taker as well. Seasoned penalty taker at Brighton. For me, I thought he should have been taking the pens while Salah's
top
away.
level as well. Top level as well. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He should be taking them as well. And another thing was, it's not like Núñez needed a goal like he hadn't scored in months. He scored the other day. Like, and he,
so,
you know
so
what?
it depends on who's the actual penalty taker, I guess. Because Matt 10's take it. So Matt 10's had 10 penalties, scored 9. And so Szoboszlai's had 16 and scored 15, or he's had 17 and scored 16. So you got 2 people with sterling records.
That's
but then if Núñez is 12 from 12 prior to yesterday, obviously I don't know about the nature of those penalties, because I know like Matt 10 has taken high pressure penalties. The one against Man U, was it when it was like last minute of the game and like everyone's watching him. So yeah, for me, Matt 10 can handle the pressure, but Núñez, man, he's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
I'm telling you.
Stoney's brethren, that, man. Stoney's brethren, that still.
I think the thing was yesterday was I was caught in it almost felt actually quite surreal, because when the penalty was given, my mind paused because I was thinking, hold on, Salah's not there. Who's going to be taking the penalty? I think it was good that obviously you guys have mentioned who the other penalty takers are for Liverpool. But yeah, for that short period, it absolutely froze. I wonder who our second or third penalty takers are. And as he said, Dr. Blake, with this the data and the statistics that you were mentioning about, it probably is Núñez or Szoboszlai or Mac 10 as well. But I think it was one of those moments as well when he did miss, and it was a miss. I know Darwin's got this love affair with crossbars and
the post
and the post at the moment. Those are the thin lines in football. But yeah, when he hit it, do you know what? Honestly, I thought to myself, it doesn't matter. He's not going to drop his head anyway.
I'm sorry, gents, but Wolves have just equalised.
Swear.
Neto.
Swear. Do you know what?
Yeah, hot off the press, the update. Neto just
2-0, and I was just like,
in the 94th minute. And they're playing 9 minutes added on time. So there's 5 more minutes to go. Neto just pulled out a banger. Lovely.
Brilliant. Good player, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Lovely. So, Billy, what was wrong with Chelsea's tactics yesterday? Considering you're coming to a team that's in form, and you're going to their house, what should you not have done? Or what did you not do wrong? Looks like you've got a long list.
Mate, I've got receipts for days. Look, to start it off with, I'm not even going to think about the goalkeeper. Yeah, Petrovic, sorry, has been fine. He has been good for us when he's been called upon. Robert Sanchez, he still gives me the nerves, but Petrovic, there was nothing he could have really done about those goals. And he did make some good saves to keep us still within a chance of potentially getting a draw out of the game. It's just a shame that no one else made an effort, really. If you're looking at the rest of the team, the defence was quite poor. Ben Chilwell, one of our more experienced players, he played awful. I would have rather I would have rather Colwill. Mate, do you know what?
But saying that, sorry, Billy. Saying that though, do you think he was right to start him though? He's just come back, and that's the game you're going to throw him in at.
I think,
because I'm thinking, why would you start? And he's been out for a good while.
Do you know what? I think it's because of the performance we had midweek. The midweek or the FA Cup against, I think it was Middlesbrough. Chilwell played very well in. Chilwell looked back at it. He looked solid. He looked sort of comfortable on the ball and ready for it. So I think Poch saw that and thought the same again. I don't see it with Chilwell. I think he's injury prone, and when he's not injured, he's too busy making mistakes or diving. The only thing he did that game that I can remember is kick the ball against Bradley, which then led to a goal, and dive and get a yellow card. That's the only two things I remember from him from that game.
He had a little tussle as well with someone when they put Bradley through for his goal as well.
Yeah.
I think it was Diaz. I think is it Diaz or Nunes? One of those.
I think it might have been Diaz.
I mean, they're both scuffling there. Like at the end of the day, I can understand from Chelsea's point of view looking at him potentially dragging it, but at the end of the day, the ball was already gone past that at that point. Like there was no, it didn't interfere with the play, if you will. It's Sterling's job to be marking Bradley there, and Sterling was too lazy. Yeah, man. I would talk about the midfield, but that we didn't even have one. Do you know what I mean? 200 million we spent on a midfield that's invisible. Imagine that. Then our attack. I mean, Cole Palmer not playing up front, or at least in a more attacking way, is not good. I thought Madueke looked average. Sterling, I mean, when has he made a good performance at Anfield? Like, has he ever had a good performance against Liverpool at Anfield? Probably not. And it definitely weren't this time either. The substitutions I didn't mind coming on, Chukwuemeka and Cassidy and Nkunku making a great difference. That's the level that we need to be aiming for. I bet Nkunku's looking at the rest of our team thinking, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Look at the team around me.
Serious baller.
And it sucks. Absolutely sucks. But overall, I'm not going to blame Poch. I think you can question his selection, but you can also justify it in his own way as well. I just think that we need to stick with him. It's only going to get better. Because if say, for instance, what happens is we sack Poch, we get someone else in, then what happens? We're going to go straight back to the start again. There'll be a little bit of momentum with the new management, then it will plateau, and then we'll be bang average again mid-table. Or we actually do what I want, which is stick with a manager and just wait and watch. Arteta, he finished 8th twice. Now look at him, comfortably in top 4.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say, Billy, not to be doom and gloom, right? And look, if you're asking me, I think Pochettino is a very good manager. Like I probably rate him highly than like many more kind of Pool fans do. And yeah, I agree. I think he's a better manager than Arteta. But I do think the key difference though is Arsenal have got a bit of stability in terms of Edu and Kroenke, and just there's a plan to their signings. And I think the issue that I see with Chelsea is I think you've got a lot of good players, but for some reason they're terrible. Because I think Chilwell's good, but he's terrible right now. I think Badiashile is good, but he looks terrible. I think you've got a lot of good players, but for some reason it's just not clicking. And I feel Nkunku is, in my opinion, on the cusp of being world class. I think there's no surprise that he's shining above the rest. But yeah, Chelsea's weird to be, man. I thought you seem to like stop signing players and probably sell a few, to be real. It's just weird.
You know what? Just quickly, I was going to bring up the ownership because I'm a firm Bowley out. I can't stand him. He's not a footballing man. He legit. He is not a footballing man. He's come from American football, which is not even football, right? And then he comes over here, sacks our staff, thinks that he can be the technical director, start making signings, start doing this crap. Now look where we are, right? We've signed too many players for the future and forgotten about the present. We've forgotten about now. That's what's happened. And unfortunately, I would love him out, but he's the owner.
It's weird.
There's no
It's
one
weird.
above him to kick him out of the club.
It's weird because I just feel like you can't spend nearly like £1 billion and Jackson is your striker and Sanchez is your goalkeeper. For me, that's like, it's just weird. Like, so what's going on with your spine? Chelsea are weird. It's weird. I don't get it. Don't get it at all.
Crazy.
Another quick thing is the identity. If we're looking earlier on, when we have Mourinho in, the spine. You ask for the identity and you talk about the spine of that team. If you look for the identity in the Conte winning side of Chelsea, you would talk about the width and the Victor Moses and Marcus Alonso, for instance. The identities we've had and the play styles we've had, we've got none of that. Ask anyone in the world, what identity does Chelsea have? What style do they have? And everyone will go, no idea.
Young players.
Legit. That's it. Our identity is academy players. That's it. Not even academy. Just young players around the world that we've just picked up.
Welcome, Mr. R&B, man. It's not a miming show, you know. You can actually talk, bro.
One of those moments. Before Tabrice mentions anything, Billy, as he said, thanks for coming to join us on the show. Can we talk about Caicedo at all, please? Because I think
he's Stoney. You're mashing up my plans, bro.
Oh, okay then. I'm gonna believe it. I'm gonna leave it.
Now you said I'm gonna have to just jump to that question now. Anyway, okay. So Caicedo, gentlemen, did we dodge a bullet, or would he have done better under Klopp?
Look, I made it clear when the date on the show before there was rumors that we were going to sign him. For me, I thought last season he was the outstanding defensive midfielder in the Premier League, and I would include Rice in that. I think only Rodri I would have above him, and I still maintain that now. I think he is an excellent player, but I think with some players, if it's the wrong environment, the wrong tactics, you can see how sometimes it just doesn't always go wrong. But right now he looks terrible, and it's sad but funny to see.
Okay, Stoney.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, and I do apologize, Artie, for reading your script before we went on air. But
yeah,
about the Caicedo thing, I think if we were probably looking at how much Liverpool were possibly going to pay for him, in the end, as he said, we've probably dodged a bullet. But as he said, he's still a young player. He's still in his infancy at Chelsea, and he can possibly come good this season or next season or the season after. But you're right in saying it. The amount of money that we've saved on that, we can probably build a new stand at Anfield. I mean, you know what I mean? For the price in that. But Billy, in all seriousness, I know you were mentioning that there's been some indifferences in the way that Poch has got Chelsea playing, that they don't currently have an identity and players are still feeling their feet. But how do you think that the performances of Caicedo has been since he's been at Chelsea?
I mean, I'm always someone who's a firm believer on first impressions count. And in his first game against West Ham, when we lost like 2-1 or 3-1, and he was in that midfield and he was appalling, it's going to be very hard for him to bring any sort of respect back from Chelsea fans, if I'm honest. With the money we paid for him, and I understand it's not his fault. Same with Enzo, same with Mudryk, same with any player in the world that anyone has signed. They're not the ones who have picked the prices on it. It's not the player's fault that they go for that much. It's just, again, back to Bowley. He is just blind. He talks with money, and he's got no negotiating skills. He's like, I'll pay you 80. They'll go, we'll sell you for 115. He'll go, yeah, that's cheap. Fair enough. I'll buy that. and that's what happens. And that's simply what it is. Caicedo, I still really enjoy. I do think, if I'm honest though, him and Enzo, I thought were going to work a lot better than what they actually have done. I just can't believe that Bowley, and I'm not going to say Poch because it's not his fault, but the fact that he has signed 2 players and they can't play together. How can you spend £1 billion and not have footballers being able to play on the same pitch as one another? It's a baffling. It is an awful environment, and we need some hard factory reset. And like I said, it's you cut the snake from the head, or whatever the saying is. It starts from the top, and unfortunately, shit rolls downhill, and we're seeing it on the pitch. It starts from the owners, then it moves to management, then it's on the pitch. That's what it is.
Damn.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Really? Anthony said there's more spine in the stinging nettle than Chelsea right now.
Mate, 100%. We are dead out.
Hold on. Breaking news. Chris Wood signs for Chelsea. They're calling him CW7.
Mate, Anthony, you're having too much fun. You know,
I'm telling you. And he says Chelsea's best player is Palmer, and yet Palmer. And even he was missing last night. Yeah, he was missing last night, mate. But for me, as well, I think they didn't do him no favors playing him there. I think he would have done a lot more damage if they played him in midfield, to be honest. But playing him as like that false nine just wasn't the one for us. Not against us, mate. Not against us. Definitely not. So, Tabrice, what's happening, sir?
I'm actually good. Yeah. Billy, welcome.
don't talk to me, Tabrice, man. You can't start it by holding your fingers up, saying the scoreline, and then say hello to me. That's not how it works, man.
Triggered. Jesus, I'm just. Hey. But no. To answer your question, Artie, Caicedo in a Liverpool shirt would be an absolute monster. I thought he was probably one of the better performers yesterday, and again, if you can read in terms of what Liverpool are missing from midfield, then he would definitely improve the squad. And I can only imagine where Liverpool would actually be if he was in the squad. Would probably be a few more points ahead. But I'm very happy in terms of where we are, and I'm very happy with our dysfunctional midfield three.
Good evening, cuz, Mr. Sparker B. I had a feeling he might be on tonight. My cousin is a Chelsea supporter as well. Goes to a lot of games, I must say. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Sparker. Let us know your feelings on yesterday's performance, man. I know we've had a chat offline, but post it up in there, man. What you think went wrong yesterday and what Poch could have done differently. So I know Billy keeps saying he doesn't blame Poch, but at the end of the day, when they say that the buck stops with the manager, and he's the one who's meant to get a tune out of them players. So you got a lot of talent there, man. A lot of talent there. So why can't the manager get a tune out of them?
But it also works from the player. Like I have a real thing when we just blame it all on the managers as well. Like the players still have to go, despite the tactics, despite the formation, despite the selection, you've still got to go out there, wear that Chelsea shirt and want to play football. And none of them did that. None of them looked like they actually wanted to be there. And that's what I have the issue with. I understand this mentality that maybe Poch ain't the one that's motivating them enough, but you're getting paid hundreds of thousands, especially at Chelsea Football Club. You're getting paid way more than what you should be, right? Especially at Chelsea Football Club. You're getting paid 100% more than what you should be. And yet you're still slopping around, not bothering, just not looking like you want to play football. And that's down to the players.
Okay, Tabrice. So Sparker says, I'm not sure I blame the manager. The owners bought too many inexperienced players.
Yeah,
I agree with that still.
Mm. I have heard
And
that
also, like,
a few times.
I just think when you sign so many players in such a quick window, I just think it's very hard to get a sense of team spirit and kind of like a togetherness. So for me, there's no surprise that like these players aren't playing for one another. Like you got these guys on 8-year contracts, something which is unprecedented. They're basically secure for life. 8-year contracts. It's crazy. So I just feel Bowley, in trying to be the smartest man in the room, the semi fucked himself, pardon the language. But I just think you sign young players, you give them 8-year contracts, you sign dozens of them literally, and then you say to manager, like, try and make a team out of this. Mate, like, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, I agree with what Sparker says as well. Like, none of them had the energy, determination to fight, slow to the ball. He says that Newcastle did it right.
Mm.
I think
But he says VW goes on to say most likely to see a different Chelsea in the final.
yeah. I've said. So I want to quickly say this: Chelsea, despite our league positions and our everything, right? Anthony, I've seen your name, and I'm not even going to bother reading that question. Especially everyone else can tell me what it says. Right? I'm looking directly into the camera, right? Chelsea, despite league form at all times, have always been in with a chance of winning trophies. Every
You
time.
still are. You still are.
Exactly, and that's my point, and that's why I agree with Vinny. We're 100% going to see a different. We could lose 8-0 against Sheffield, which is actually probably likely now, looking at how we play, right? But we could lose against Sheffield 8-0 and yet go and still beat Liverpool in the cup final the next week. That is something that Chelsea do. That is some stupid stuff that Chelsea have always done.
Billy, you're a mid-table team. The days
Mate,
of
100%.
Jose Mourinho, John Terry, Frank Lampard have gone. Like the game yesterday shouldn't have been billed as a game where Liverpool could actually slip up. There was, after the second goal, exactly what you said. You guys down-tooled. Jose Mourinho's side would not do that. Chelsea. Listen, you know what? And again, I rate you really for like coming on, but I would just take yourself off because you know what? Listen, it's just not happening. Mid-table finish. You're gonna finish the season without a trophy. You know what? I think you will actually be in the Europa Conference competition because Liverpool will probably be in the Champions. No, because Liverpool are going to be in the Champions League, and whoever wins the League Cup goes into the Europa Conference. So by default, there's where Chelsea are going to end up.
Oh, is it? No, okay.
Yeah. So but hey, you know what? Yeah, it's a kind of transitional period for like Chelsea. A lot more of these types of conversations are going to be happening. Yes, I do agree with you in terms of what you said, Billy. I think Poch, you have to stick with him because I think there's like no one else really that could change the fortunes of Chelsea. But again, how the game was built yesterday was crazy to me. There was no competition. There's we are streets ahead of like in terms of where like you are and yeah it was easy.
So Sparker says, meaning that Newcastle bought decent players and added to their squad without going gung-ho. That's what he's talking about. So VW says they're like a year 7 football team, all coming from different primary schools after getting to one another whilst playing games. Yeah, it's true. And then he goes on to say, we are buying young players and putting too much responsibility on them.
It's just a weird strategy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Bowley's got some kind of like money laundering kind of intent or something like that. Because it just doesn't make any sense. Like if he just believes that you're just going to sign young players on extraordinary contracts, 8-year contracts, and suddenly they're just going to like gel together and be like one of those like American TV programs, and was it like Coach Carter, one of them kind of programs like that, and they were gonna kind of start getting Joe's. It's just weird. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen. Hence why I just think if you've been successful enough to be like in a position where you've got £1 billion to spend, you just don't do that. Hence why I think either Bowley's an absolute idiot or this is some kind of like money laundering something, because it makes no sense.
So Sparker says when players go to Man City, you don't see them until they are ready. Same with Liverpool.
But Chelsea don't have a style of play like they don't have I'd say a football fabric like the likes of United, Liverpool. So again, when and again, I don't know if you guys have you guys probably haven't spoken about Klopp, but hey, there's a style, there's a way that Liverpool play. There isn't a style for like Chelsea. It's whoever comes in.
This is what Billy was talking about earlier. He said beforehand, when you had the Mourinhos and that, you could see a style. You can see a pattern, but he's saying you can't see that now. So you're saying you could see that before and under Conte, and that you could see how they were playing. But he's saying, yeah, now you can't see that.
But I wonder how we see with that as well. Billy, I'm only really echoing what you were just mentioning and what Artie and Tabriz were speaking about. What is Poch's way of actually playing? How did he play at Tottenham? I mean, how did he play at Southampton? How did he get his teams to play at Tottenham? And how did he get his teams to play at Paris Saint-Germain? Were they all quite similar? And were you looking for him to get the teams playing similar at Chelsea? Or do you think because so much players are coming that he's had to change his style? I mean, what was Poch's style? What is Poch's style as a manager?
I mean, especially we saw with Tottenham, he liked to play the 4-2-3-1. He did like attacking fullbacks. He did like them, and he also liked his wingers tucking in. If you remember, Dele Alli would be in the middle, Christian Eriksen would be on the right, but he would always cut in or always be on the inside, almost as like another sort of attacking midfielder, and then Kyle Walker would bomb on, or Trippier, or whoever was the right back. They had the main man up top, whether it was Kane or whoever they had in, and they always had at least a guarantee there. And then also you had Son on the left, who was always cutting in as well. On top of that, you had two midfielders. There was the sort of I can't even remember the word for it, but there was that box-to-box one that was able to sort of facilitate just sort of the Dembele, where you just dominate that middle bit. And that's what I think the hopes of Caicedo were doing. You know, when he was at Brighton, he was up there with the percentages, with tackles won, interceptions, those sorts of stats. And I thought that's what we were seeing with Caicedo, and then Enzo would hopefully be able to push a bit further on, because we have seen it with Enzo where he does like to progress with the ball. He does like to get the ball into the final third of the pitch and in the attacking areas. And I thought that's what we were going to see. But it's all about time with Poch. We bearing in mind, like Doctor was saying, Poch has come into this with like 40 odd players who are all on 240 million a day, all wanting to play football, all of them 18 years old, all of them like Poch. What can Poch do other than just play? It's just he just has to do what he has to do for now, and clear some dead wood. And in my opinion, Mudrik's one of them. I've been a strong candidate for him for since he signed. But that miss last night.
What's funny about Mudrik? He made his debut against us, right?
Yeah.
And he looked like he was fire.
I'm telling you.
Said, like, slow down. He's playing against James Milner. So I think it puts into perspective how bad Milner actually was, because Mudrik looked like he was world class. Like
I remember it. I remember it well. I thought to myself, Chelsea got a player here, bro. I was like, damn.
And now he's more like a sprinter than an actual footballer. That's crazy. But apparently, Brentford nearly signed him. I think it was 6 months previously for like £18 million, and then like a decent half season in the Champions League, and then he's going for like 75 mil. That's nuts.
So VW says Chelsea don't have an identity or reputable hard-earned legacy. It's all been built on buy. So it's highlighted by the fact that very few of their academy players have been allowed to get regular games.
If you think about all of the players that they've let go or have gone, I'm not going to say that it would have made a difference, but I think that's Chelsea's model. With the academy players, will kind of get you to the pro level, but that doesn't mean that you'll be playing for us. And again, in terms of what Poch can do or can't do, I know it's a probably different kettle of fish, but you've seen what Emre's done at Villa with the same squad that Gerrard had, and you've seen how better they are. Poch has had all of this resources and whatnot with the players, but you can't see any improvements from anyone. So
that's a poor comparison to Reece. If you think about it, Unai Emery went to Arsenal, which he was expected to do a lot, and he crumbled.
No,
Unai Emery
didn't have the time.
He didn't have the time. Managers don't have the time anymore, unfortunately. That's just how it is. Managers don't have time. And unfortunately, Unai Emery thrives under teams that don't expect as much. We saw it with Villarreal. He did well there because they weren't expecting as much. And he went to Villa, a team that have been beaten by Gerrard, with a bunch of players who just look like they're giving up. And Unai Emery went into a team that was demotivated. They didn't have the drive or the focus to want to push on. And Unai Emery has installed that now.
And what has Poch done?
Poch is still trying to develop with 40-odd players. You have to give him at least a season to see what he does.
How long did Emery get at Arsenal?
I don't even know off the top of my head.
Was it 2 years?
Year and a bit?
Yeah.
Nah, it wasn't 2 years. Maybe 18 months, I think it was.
18 months.
Yeah.
I don't think he made 2 years. No,
he didn't. He didn't, because Arteta then won the FA Cup in what would have been Emery's second season. But then Emery was about 2 or 3 games away from getting top 4, and obviously he got them to the Europa League final as well. It's a strange one because look, all banter aside, and it is hilarious what's happening at Chelsea. Hilarious. But if we're just looking at it objectively, I do think the conditions that Pochettino has found himself in are unprecedented. I can't think of a comparison in any era of football where I've seen this. So, yeah, I just don't know what you're meant to do with a bunch of like 30, 20-year-olds who are on crazy money, who are on bloody 8-year contracts. I just don't know what, like, it's weird to me. It's just weird. And then you spend all that money and Jackson is your main striker. It's just like it's actual banter.
Jackson. So Sparker says that we actually have 4 academy players playing regularly, apart from Reece, because Reece is always injured, he's saying. And VW says Arsenal and the media ran Emery out with no time. Yeah, my thing is this though, as a manager, I've managed for quite a while in my lifetime. I managed youth football for about 9 years, and I had what was known as the B team at the time. So what it was, my son was playing for this team, and they had excess players in the team. And at the time, at their age group, I think there was only started at 7 aside. So they had about 14 players. So some of them weren't really getting game time. So the managers came up to me and just seeing how I was on the sidelines, they said, listen, how would you like to take over some of these guys and create your own team or like our B team and run the team for us, run the B team for us, because give these guys some game time. So I was like, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a bit of a challenge. I'll do that. The guys, they could still play football, but obviously they just weren't as good as the first team ballers. So I took them on And the first thing I had to do with these guys for me is get them to believe in my philosophy of how to play football and how football should be played. That's number one. And then I'm trying to instill into them, like, you know, the things of, like, I'm telling you about never giving up. Doesn't matter if you go 1 down, 2 down, you know, you got to fight to the end. And then, you know what, after all of that, then we started working on tactics and everything like that. So I knew when my guys went out there, no matter what happened from start to finish for the whole game, they were going to give me everything. You have to get these guys to believe in your principles first and foremost, man. Or else you could have all the tactics in the world. Nothing ain't going to work for you if these guys ain't willing to believe in you and fight for you.
I feel like we had that with Tuchel.
Huh?
The closest we've seen with the last few managers, whether it was Lampard or when he was interim or Potter before that, I think Tuchel's the last one that we saw that actually installed some sort of fight within the players. Obviously, we won the Champions League that season, beating City 1-0. But yeah, like I think Tuchel's been the closest one since to install that.
That's right. Bowley sacked him, right?
Yeah, but well,
they didn't get on because Tuchel was too much of his own man.
There was leaks that Bowley wanted to sign Ronaldo, and Tuchel went no.
Yeah,
and then he wanted to sign Aubameyang, and then that happened, and Tuchel was gone.
That's right. Weird, man. Weird.
BW says Arsenal and Fergie left scraps for their successors, and you've seen the impact.
Fergie, definitely.
But anyway, I do want to quickly say
they've not laid any foundations for their future. Anthony, we will be getting to you shortly, man. He's talking about this 2-2 for this next game. We will be coming into there very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. Bodie was that person who raided all toilet roller groceries in lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, listen, that wouldn't surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all. That wouldn't surprise me at all. All right, quickly, before we move on, Billy, who would you like to see, quickly, of top 5, who would you like to see gone from Chelsea, player-wise?
What, who I want gone?
Yeah. Top 5.
Reece James.
Reece James.
I love that guy with a
that makes sense to me.
Wow.
Okay.
Reece James.
That makes sense to me still.
Who else? I think that's Sterling.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, it's a tough one, man.
Silva?
Nah, that guy. That guy's already leaving. He's set to leave, and don't talk about that. He'll get me crying. I don't want to. I don't even want to think about that. Yeah, Reece James, Sterling. I'm gonna go with Chilwell, and
3. 2 more.
Come on, Billy. It's not that hard.
Oh, shut up, man. I'll go with Robert Sanchez.
That's 4.
Actually, yeah, scrap Robert Sanchez, Brozier and Jackson. They're both gone. Both strikers gone.
Both strikers. Okay. Well, there is rumours that Brozier is meant to be going to Fulham on loan.
Yeah.
This is how bad Poch wants to get rid of him. First, it was 50 million they wanted for him. Then they was willing to take a loan deal with some money and a guaranteed 50 million sale afterwards. Then it went down to just forget the 50 million. We'll take a loan deal for 5 million. Then it's gone down to they'll take a loan deal and it's about 2.5 million now.
Jesus Christ. Bro, it's Bowley, bro. It's weird guy. Strange, man.
But the thing is, if it doesn't get over the line that he goes to Fulham, how's this guy going to come back into training, man, after that? That's disgraceful.
Do you know what? Someone who I'm pretty sure is left now is Ian Maatson. I really liked him.
He's class.
And the fact that I don't know if he's actually officially at Dortmund. I think he is, but there was leaks and rumors that he was going there. But he was the left back who I wanted over Chilwell. Harsh on Sterling. At the start, he like not at the start, but like the start of this season, he seemed to be in form. He seemed to be picking up stuff. But when you're one of the more experienced players and you look worse than these youngsters who have no experience, you need to make way.
But to me, he's been one of your better players this season. He has been one of your better players this season.
No, he has. He has.
At the start,
Sterling's class.
You tell me who's been better.
Palmer.
What? No. And who else?
What? Who's been better than Sterling?
Out of 11, you've got 2 decent players, and you want to get rid of one of them.
Yep.
Billy,
No, it is.
Billy, are you like bold as sin? You sound mad.
Nah, Sterling's class, yeah. But you see the goal yesterday that Bradley scores. Sterling 3 years ago was with Bradley. I just think Sterling's on crazy money. He's gone back home. Look, Sterling will always show quality because he is just a very good player. But I do think the hunger has gone from his game, and he's gone to Chelsea for the paycheck, in my opinion. Because I just think, Sterling for me has been one of the most diligent, hard-working wingers I've seen in the last 3 to 4 years. Well, longer than that. There's a reason why Pep always played him in big games. He played numerous systems under Brendan Rodgers. Like the guy works hard. So when Sterling's not tracking back,
he did.
I think to myself, like he's done. Like he just wants a paycheck now. So I get it.
Do you think also with that thing with Sterling, and I think that's a fair comment that Doctor said as well. What's Sterling? I think he's 29 at the moment. So he broke into QPR's first team at 15, right? He was getting regular game time at QPR, regular game time at Liverpool, regular game time for England, regular game time for Man City. He was about to level off at some stage, I mean, he's had an amazing career, rightly so. I think it's nice the way that him and his family have obviously managed his career as well and kept money in-house. But it might just mean that he's leveling off now. So I think it's one of those things. He's been playing, as you said, top flight football from 15. And he may also be part of what's currently happening at Chelsea as well. I mean, you guys have played him in every single position apart from a goalkeeper since he's been there. So I think it's one of those things. Hopefully, when it settles in with the players and the manager, we may see a resurgence of Sterling. Whether he manages to get to the heights that he is at Man City, I do apologize. We'll have to see. But I still think he'll be able to contribute something at Chelsea.
Billy, what was the game when Sterling and Palmer, either one of them was through on goal and there was a square pass and then it would have been an open goal, but then they didn't actually, the player then took the shot. I can't remember if it was Sterling through on goal, if it was Palmer. The easy ISS old school cheesy and then slot it in and then they actually shot and missed it.
It was
Wolves. Who was that again?
A sweaty, as they call it in FIFA.
Yeah, who was that? Wolves.
Yeah, it was Wolves.
Like, when you're seeing things like that, you're just like, yeah. That's the complete.
One thing with Sterling that I've noticed more and more, I don't blame him for it, but I do. The amount of times that guy is offside does my head in. He is quick. He's rapid. He can beat, I want to say, at least 75% of the defenders in this league, if not more, with pace. You do not need to be offside. And when he is offside and they don't pass to him, he goes, it's like, mate, you're offside. Don't be offside. Maybe you'll get a pass.
And I'd also say I think Sterling's one of the most tactically intelligent forwards around as well. I think his understanding of space, timing of his runs, I think he's shown this for a period of time. Like his off the ball movement is elite. So I think when Sterling's doing that, I think it just kind of indicates the malaise at the club, man. Sterling's gone for his check, man. He's done.
CW
so I get it.
That Sterling was played alongside better players when he was at Liverpool and City. But he does says that Pep was happy to get rid of him. and that Sterling is a victim of Chelsea circumstances. We wouldn't be saying that if he was at LFC, Arsenal, or Spurs.
No, but also he wouldn't be giving up as easy as we've seen him do for Chelsea. If he was playing under
Yeah,
Klopp,
that's been his point still.
Klopp would be making sure Sterling's running. And if he ain't running, he's off the pitch. It's that simple.
So hold on. Is that down to the manager then?
Exactly, that's down to the manager.
Like you were saying, he wasn't though before.
Exactly, that's down to the manager.
That's it. You said that Klopp would be making sure that he's running.
Yeah.
So why isn't Poch making sure that these players are running?
Because Poch's got too many players to tell him to run.
What do you mean too many players?
What do you mean too many players? There's 40 of them at the club.
No, Billy. Like,
yeah, but you have to pick a squad.
Poch isn't
running
running
like, what is it, 20, 25 or 26?
Come on.
26, I think.
So you can only have a squad of 26 or whatever the rest of them players are doing. Good luck to them. But this is my squad that I'm putting out for Champions League matches and for the Prem matches. So I'm working with 26.
Look,
Poch needs to do better. He needs to do better. I think that's the bottom line. He does need to do better. I do accept that, and as I said before, he is working under unique conditions, but he still does need to do better because, yeah, you can't have a man just not running. But then, I guess the point would be, if he was at a different club, Sterling, the alternative isn't Mudryk. So, boy, like if you're Poch, are you saying Sterling try and do something for me, or Mudryk just go and sprint down the kind of athletics track? So yeah, I just that it's pick your poison, man. Pick your poison. Because let's be real, Mudryk, yeah, like I won't call him garbage just in case he does something in the cup final, but he's garbage. So like,
I won't call him garbage, but he's garbage.
Man, he stinks.
I was going to say, is it just me or does B-Tech Steps member Mudryk look like a man version of Astrid Wet?
I think so. You know what? I'm sure Astrid Wet still got more fans on her YouTube. I mean, her OnlyFans page as well than Mudryk. So that'll be quite interesting.
Sterling has gone from structure at City to chaos at Chelsea. And Chelsea got 7 or 8 left backs and they can't pick a decent one. Gee whiz, things are really bad down at the bridge, boy. I tell you. Things are really bad down at the bridge. Anyway, thank you very much for the 3 points, Billy. I must say, very nice of you, mate.
Like,
well done, Billy. Well done, Billy.
Cheers.
There's another big game on the horizon, gentlemen. This Sunday, Super Sunday. We travel down to the old Emirates to take on the old Arsenal. How do we see this one going, gentlemen? Considering how we beat them in the FA Cup, and now I know that they're going to be up for this. They're going to want some revenge. How do we see this going?
Do you know what? If you don't mind, I'm going to go first. Let Arsenal come for this. Anytime we've been at the Emirates, we always come away with 3 points. For any Arsenal fans that have tuned into Kop Talk, you are not getting nothing this week. Absolutely nothing. We are coming away with a 2-0 victory. You look back at your history. When we come to the Emirates, we're there eating patty and drops and drinking sorrow with a little tip of white rum. It's game time this weekend. 3 points for Liverpool this weekend. It's as simple as that. That's how I feel.
Woo! So there's
sorrow.
Don't forget with a hit of right rum. Yeah, don't forget that. Okay, so Doctor, how are we feeling about that game?
Yeah, always confident against Arsenal. Can't lie. I think the game in the FA Cup, we definitely struggled against their press, but Klopp's shown that he's worked that out. So I just think their biggest attribute was their counter pressing, but we've kind of worked that out now. So I just think we've got key players back. We've got players on form. The front three looks dynamite. So yeah, I'm super confident. Like if I'm being honest, I was more confident about the Arsenal game than the Chelsea game. So yeah, shout out Tipper. Slappings, rude boys.
Yeah,
Slappings.
Tell him again.
Slappings, bruv.
VW says this will be a tough game. He thinks it will be a draw. Fabrice.
Don't see it.
No, you know what? I think it's going to be a tough game. I think this is the game where, depending on the starting 11, where I think the title. Okay, let me be very careful. This is a poignant game. This is literally where people will start believing in. Well, I'm not saying that people don't believe now, but with literally what we've gone through with the players that are now back, we have a squad that everyone believes are good enough now to win the Premier League. We were a little bit lucky to actually get, well, especially in the first half at Anfield. So that's the only slight concern. But if we kind of play like how we did against Chelsea, then there's only going to be one winner.
Okay. Billy, how do you see this one going, mate? And I'm just talking without an unbiased hat on here, yeah?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I said this in the group chat which Fabrice is in. I said 5-0 Liverpool. I think
5-0?
Mate, no word of a lie, right?
Let me go for the ice
I
again.
cannot see a world in which Arteta and Arsenal are winning, even at the Emirates. Stoney said it so poetically and so majestically and beautifully that I couldn't have even replicated it. But I can't see Arsenal winning that. Mate, you've got a 17-year-old, or how old is he? How old is Bradley? 18?
No, 20.
He's older still. 20 still, but he's young. Yeah, he's young player. Yeah.
Young. He's going to pocket Martinelli.
He really has.
There's no worry about that. Saka down your left side, that's going to be the biggest worry.
What do you mean? What do you call it? It's dealt with him once already. Gomez dealt with
twice.
him.
Gomez is pocketed
Gomez,
him. Pocket,
yeah.
back pocket, front pocket. He just pocketed him.
He did. He dealt with him neatly.
I mean, they've got a striker that's come out and said he doesn't score goals. So, what else have they got? I'll go 5-0.
Side. That's a big one, boy. That's a big one. CW says all the pressure is on Arsenal to stay in the title race. But isn't there some pressure on us because we're top that everyone's expecting us to stay top? And everyone is expecting us to win.
No. I
win.
I think the position that we're in is fine. I think what have Arsenal done? They've had a draw. What's their thing? It was a draw. Was it 2 losses and 2 wins? I think coming into this fixture. I do believe that there's more pressure on Arsenal. Yeah, I understand that we are at the top of the league. We've got the points in the bag, so it's for them, the teams behind us, to make sure they try to or attempt to capitalize on that. As you said, Arsenal may be coming into this game with a sense of vengeance, a sense of coming in to try and make sure that they try and rectify some of the ills that happened in the previous game against us. But as I said, all of the pressure is on Arsenal and all of the pressure is on Arteta, and history has shown it, and it's not just me. We'll just see how Arsenal play under pressure, especially Arteta. They're volatile. They're an emotional set of players with an emotional manager, and we'll just see how he manages at 4:30 on Sunday. As I said, they are not coming away with anything in that game. I can't see it in any shape or form.
Arsenal need to win more. 2-1 to Liverpool. CW says, I'll have what Billy's taking on that prediction. Billy still believes in Father Christmas. Arsenal are bottler under pressure. Oh, yeah. I still think it's going to be a tough game, man. It's going to be a tough game. They are. Arteta's that kind of he's that annoying guy. You just want to slap, and he's peed off from what happened, man. And he's going to be on them about what happened last time. He'll be drilling them. Trust me, he will be drilling them. So I still believe we can get the win, but I don't think it'll be easy. And there's
I
no
think it's a
chance.
tough game.
There's no chance it's going to be 5-0. No chance. Be a lot tight, and I think there'll be one goal in it. I reckon.
All I'll ask is, if Billy's prediction is right and it is 5-0, Artie, I just ask you just to do one thing, please. Please contact Anthony Herbert
Yeah.
and ask for him to come and join the show with us next week, Thursday. That's all I ask of you.
Hey. He says, what, lads? Arsenal 2, Liverpool 2. Arteta out. Oh. Yeah, no, I'll listen, definitely, mate. Definitely. Be very, very interesting. And listen, if we give them a slappings, I might have to even give Tipper a call. Trust me.
Artie, can I ask you, right, well, everyone on the panel, with Klopp's announcement and him saying he's leaving, this Liverpool team, I believe, will be scarier than any other Klopp team that we've seen. With his
They got
announcement.
something to prove, because they got something to fight for, to send the manager with.
Exactly. The amount of respect that Klopp has got through that city, not the club, not the fans, this city, right? It's as simple as that. You've had all these players come through and be absolute workhorses for him when he hasn't had a send-off or when he hasn't said that he's leaving. Now he has said that. What will the players, what extent will the players go to in order to win stuff? And I think that's the key difference. We saw last season, what was the extent that Arsenal players did for Arteta last season? They fumbled it. 90% they spent at the top.
Badly as well. Still, it was a bad fumble from them last season. It was a bad fumble.
And the season before that from the top four. It was the last game of the season. And they got knocked out the top four. Or they lost the fourth position for Champions League. Like, Klopp and that Liverpool side, especially this season, there's no reason why they can't go and win 4 trophies.
I mean, but Billy, I think you're. I think you've answered your own question. I mean, when the announcement was made, and I know I will probably talk about it, so I don't want to talk too much. But you've actually seen the results since. You've seen how professional and how focused the black players are. I do believe that the players didn't know, and literally everyone found out at the same time. But again, you've actually seen what Liverpool can do if they put their mind to it. And again, if you can think about it, without Trent, without Mo, without Endo, Robertson, sorry, yeah, those are 4 huge players. And again, there's been a lot of talk about certain players and if they're going to move on and whatnot. You don't see that in their performances. You actually see a togetherness and also as fans as well. Well, for me personally, I was very coy about where Liverpool will finish this season. I've changed my stance, now. Without, let me not say too much, but you are looking at and hearing Premiership champions when you come onto this platform.
Jesus Christ, Breeze. And I like the way he said that, just cool and calm, serious. Good big shouts goes out to Creds. Nice to have you on board, my friend, Mr. RDR himself. He says, "Oh, come on, lads. I've messaged Billy. He talks more. Yeah, he'll come on." Anthony said he'll be here. Apparently, the team had their own meeting about what they need to do for Klopp now. So the team have already met and said this is what they need to do for Klopp. I just hope it doesn't have that adverse effect where someone tries to go a bit too far to prove the point for him, basically. Yep, I hope it does spur them on to say, yeah, let's bring some stuff home for him. So, yeah, ideally, I would love it to be the Prem. Number one, if we get any out of them, I'd just love it to be the Prem.
Definitely.
Yeah, that for me would just be the icing on the cake. But if we can get a couple in there, then yeah, lovely jubbly. I'll take that all day long. All day long. and we are looking like we're in a good position to do that. And that has been shown by the way that he's been able to mix up the squads and give players rest, where he ultimately hasn't really done before. And with the kind of game that we play, players need that rest, man. They need to, they need a bit of respite because they work hard. Like even yesterday, still, I thought Núñez ran himself into the ground yesterday. He was still trying to close down players though at the end. And I thought that he could have been one of the players that could have got taken off, especially when he got the yellow. I think you saw it, Doctor, when I put that in the group about taking him off. Because straight after he got the yellow, he went and made a foul. And that was my thinking in saying take him off, because you know what? Don't want him to get sent off. Yeah, he's pumped up. You know what I mean? And so after missing the penalty, he wants to prove a point. But Klopp left him on, funny enough, and I saw it last like 10 or 15 minutes. Even though he was trying to close down, he wasn't as quick as before, man. His legs were tiring, man, because he put in a hell of a shift. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. So this season is showing vast improvements in being able to take players off and bring on, like a Cody Gakpo or whatever. There's options there. There is options there.
Yeah, it's our best squad for me. Yeah, like it's the best squad that Klopp's had. And I think not just in terms of the depth. Obviously, look, the previous team that got to the last Champions League final, and then obviously the teams that won the league and then the Champions League, I think we would probably agree that the first 11 was better than the first 11 now. Well, yeah, I'd probably say that. But I think the depth we've got now, but not just the depth, but the different types of players we've got now. I think we've just got variety. We can do the counter press and play basketball and go end to end. Then we can also play technical football and play through the lines and keep it, move it. So I think, we've never had a midfield with the technical ability of Szoboszlai, McAllister, and say Curtis Jones like yesterday. If you look at the peak one of Ginny, Fabinho, and Henderson, it doesn't match to that technically. Like still good technically, but it's not this. So we've got different strings to our bow, man. And
one question I was going to ask, and I totally forgot. Do we keep Conor Bradley in, or does Trent come back in?
Bradley for me, all day, Bradley.
All right. So bearing in mind that I'm sure that I think it was last week or the week before, I asked the same question about Gomez and Robertson. A man said, boy, bring back Robertson. Even though Gomez has had some stellar performances. And now we're asking the same thing on the other side. And remember, what do you call it? Gomez has had assists as well.
For me, Gomez and Bradley have to start on Sunday. It's not even a question for me.
Okay. Stoney?
I agree with Dr. Blake. Conor Bradley, I think we probably look sometimes with young players coming through and they're playing the first teams, and we know that his form's going to dip at some time, and that's natural for any young player. But I would say let Conor Bradley start, and if Trent does play, let him start in midfield, because that's where his positioning or his transition is taking place.
So, oops, Stoney's frozen. Stoney,
agree with Dr. Blake. Conor Bradley. No problem. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
You froze when you said transition.
Yeah, so Trent, we all know when he starts on the right hand side, he makes that transition into midfield anyway. I'd say start him in midfield and start Conor Bradley at right back.
And drop who then?
From midfield. Yeah. Well, I think Curtis has to play and Szoboszlai has to play as well.
And Matt's looking like the best midfielder in the league.
So that's what I mean.
Put him in the league right now. Like he's looking mad.
Massive issue, because it means that Mac 10 doesn't start.
Trent's on the bench.
No, but Mac 10 for me had a stellar game. And he's actually starting to look like a number 6.
And you see once again, then this allows us to even go into this game against Arsenal with so many options. It is unbelievable, because as Dr. Wakeler was saying, If it's a case where Trent then has to buy his time, he got some game time last game, then it's fine. And you know what? I'm all up for that. We all know what Trent is able to offer us. And if it's something where he starts on the bench, them coming on, he's gonna have an even greater point to prove for himself as a minimum. So that again makes our performance against Arsenal be even greater. So either way, it's a win-win. But I mean, the original question was about Conor Bradley. I would like Conor Bradley to start.
Okay. So, Brees, I'm coming to you with that question. CW says, same lineup that started against Chelsea. Enough said. And Credible says, Gomez as well and Robertson. Bring Robertson in another game, he's saying. Keep that rhythm. Trent and Robbo need to earn their place, lads. Yep, I agree. So, to Brees, Conor Bradley, Trent Alexander.
Conor Bradley is the deputy. Trent is the sheriff, and when the sheriff's back, he takes center stage. Conor has had an amazing few games. I think we're not doubting that, but we are looking at a player that's just coming into the team. And Trent's back, and there's certain players in every team that, when they're fit, they play. When Van Dijk was coming back from injury and when Konza was there and Konza was doing well, no one even said, oh, you know what, Van Dijk's got to hold the bench. Nah, he's coming straight in. So with Trent, it's the same thing. Honestly, Trent, 5-6 years of stellar performances. Conor, 3 games. And again, I'm not squashing him. Let's kind of nurture this like potential superstar, this like potential talent into our starting 11. But like for him, or for like people to like say like he should start over Trent, if like Trent is 90% match, because of course Trent is over his injury 100%. It's just about sharpness now. I think it's when
his leg was still strapped up.
Listen, I mean, if he's coming onto a pitch, that there's no issues regarding his like rehab or his injury. Now it's match sharpness. For me, Trent's better starting than like coming on. So if Trent starts, and then if we have to move him in and let's let Conor come on, then cool. But again, Conor's played how many games in how many days? It's about 2 or 3 games in. No, actually, so we played yesterday, and then we're looking for him to play again on Sunday. Let's
bring him off though.
Let's just kind of just breathe and actually and appreciate what Klopp is trying to do, but like also as well, Trent, we have to bring him in. Like we all know what like Trent does. He's got credit. He's got years in the bank. He's got experience away from home. Emirates. It's again, it's going to be a tough and hostile atmosphere.
Creds, I fully agree with you, mate. Exactly what he says, and this is exactly how I feel. Defensively, Bradley's just more solid. Not saying he's better, but defensively, and is Trent sharp enough for this big game?
I think he's sharp. I mean, like he's come on twice now, hasn't he, Trent? Is it twice or 3 times? Well, at least twice.
When he came on, they bloody scored.
Yeah, but that's not down to Trent, though. Come on, like we actually made a few changes now. Come on, come on.
It's true. It wasn't down to Trent.
Yeah, come on.
I just think Trent hasn't started a game yet. He obviously had that knee injury, so he needs to. So I think this is the thing. If this was say 2 or 3 years ago, and we didn't have a decent deputy, then I think you have to throw Trent back in there. And look, I've said in previous shows, forget being one of the best right backs in the world. I think Trent is one of the best players in the world. Also, that you won't find a better or a fan who rates Trent higher than me. But I just think I like the idea that no matter who you are, no matter what your rep is, you've got to earn your way back into the team. And Bradley can't have what was it? 4 games, 5 assists and a goal. Like, and the thing is as well, and this is the thing I would say as well, I do think Trent has struggled against Martinelli on about 2 or 3 occasions.
Yes.
And we saw Bradley come on and pocketed him. So I think that as well is making me lean towards Bradley as well. I just think Bradley's flying. And Trent had a knee injury and let him come back into the team when he's fully fit, man.
Yeah, man.
But I do think it's Reese's fault, though. I mean,
I think we should. One thing that is key in football is building like partnerships and relationships. And right now, you've got a back 4 that's doing really well, and I think you should try and keep that together. That's what I say. Until someone is out of form or someone is injured.
It's actually amazing that we're having this conversation anyway. You know, again,
it's a blessing, isn't it? It's a blessing. It's a blessing, man.
We are literally debating if someone that's just played a handful of games for Liverpool should be displacing Trent at right back. That's a crazy conversation to have. But again, it's a blessed one as well. Mm-hmm. So again, either way, I'll be happy. But again, I think Trent is the guy for me.
Okay. Gentlemen, I must say, it has been a blast. Thank you very much, all those, for your comments in the chat room. Do remember, it's all about Kop Talk each and every Thursday. And the hot news off the press is that there will be another show going out off the Kop Talk platform. Billy will be part of that, just so you all know. Yeah, I'll pop in there now and again. The plan is, peoples, it's going to be an anything goes show. So it won't be just Liverpool talk. It'll be about all football teams. They'll be talking about anything football, basically. So do keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. We'll be launching that very, very shortly. Just need to iron out a few fine details. And then, yeah, we will be launching that one there. So look out for that. Anything goes coming to a space on YouTube near you real soon. Billy, man, thank you very much for coming on after that mauling, I must say. Big cojones, man, I must say.
Yeah, it is what it is. There's no point. There's no point looking into the past. You can only look forward.
Yeah. Well, you see, that's that glass half full mentality. I like that, man. I like that.
You need it sometimes, man.
Yeah, man. No, for real, I like that. To Breeze, Mr. R&B.
Yeah, I'm good. You know what, Billy? It looks like I'm actually wearing more blue than you, mate.
Isn't it?
I'm wearing funeral colours. That's what it is. my team got killed. I'm wearing a black suit for my club. That's what I'm doing.
Tabriz, by the way, before you go, Tabriz, what is that you're wearing? Your teams?
Oh no, so it's a team I used to play for. It's Wimbledon Town.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Blake, my brother, thank you very much, sir.
Blessings, man. Billy, shout out to coming on, man. It was a difficult game, but you turned up, man. And yeah, let's just go and teach these gooners who, for some reason, think that we're their main rivals. Because I tell you what, since Klopp announced that he was going, the amount of messages I've had from Arsenal fans, it's just like, I'm sorry. Since when did we become Tottenham? So nah. So they need to hold some licks on Sunday, because my thing is this. You have to earn your stripes on the pitch and not on Arsenal fan TV. And let's earn it on the pitch first. You can't qualify for the Champions League once in 8 years and suddenly you're some kind of big club now, innit? Let's just settle down and we'll see how it goes on Sunday.
Yeah, I like that. Stoney, my brother.
Yeah, I can only extend on what Dr. Blake was saying as well about Arsenal. Look, we'll see what we need to do with that. Just like to thank everybody for tuning into Kop Talk again today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to Billy as well. Even though he supports Chelsea, I think it was clear on his show, and it's been clear on all of the other times he's come on, that not only is he a Chelsea historian, but he's got extensive knowledge in football, and you'll always be welcomed on our show as well, Billy. So blessed to you, sir.
Cheers,
It's been a really good episode again today, and as I said, I just look forward to seeing everybody next week Thursday.
Peace, my people. Peace.